Welcome. This is the SDSFIE Portal and Tools Overview webinar, a resource for SDSFIE training. This training resource is designed for all users. There is one recommended prerequisite for this webinar: watching the Understanding the Vector Standard video, or the abbreviated version entitled What is SDSFIE V? The 3 background training resources listed here are optional, but they may add to your overall understanding of SDSFIE. All of these videos are accessible from the support section of the SDSFIE portal at the URL shown. A final note is that the What are the SDSFIE Portal and Tools video is an abbreviated version of this video. The overall goal for our training resources is that all SDSFIE users understand the purpose, structure, and parts of the SDSFIE family of standards, or standards framework, and how to implement those standards. The specific objectives for this presentation are that the audience gains an understanding of the following: the main features of the SDSFIE portal, tool access from the portal homepage, functionality of each of the SDSFIE portal tools, and application of the tools to common IGINS and standards implementation use cases. The SDSFIE portal contains a set of resources that include web pages that provide background, governance, standard-specific information, and component-specific content, access to the Automated Process Portal, or APP, which is the online system that facilitates the change management process, or CMP, a set of tools and applications, and access to support resources such as recorded webinars, training videos, and user manuals. We will now take a look at the overall layout of the SDSFIE portal site and its contents, and how the tools and applications are accessed. We will first take a look at the main portal page layout for site visitors that do not have an account or are not yet logged in. In general, visitors that are not logged in have access to everything except the tools and apps, which provide access to and operate on the vector models. The first thing to notice is the header at the top of the page. This header is present on all web pages and stays in place when you scroll the page down. At the left is the logo, which if clicked on always returns the view to the top of the home page. At the right are 2 links, one to the registration page if you are not already a user, and one to the login page if you are a user. In the middle of the header, there are 5 top-level choices from left to right that correspond to sections populating the home page from top to bottom. There are drop-down menus associated with these subjects, which we will explore in a moment. For now, let's explore the 5 sections of the home page. Unauthenticated site visitors would first see succinct definitions of both SDSFIE, a family of IGINS standards, guidance, and frameworks that include models and specifications, and define a DoD-wide set of semantics intended to maximize geospatial information and services interoperability for installation, environment, and civil works missions, and the SDSFIE portal, a web-centric interface that enables users to access documentation and tools that support the implementation and governance of that family of standards. Moving down into the Standards section, we see rectangular objects called cards for each SDSFIE family member. Clicking on any card opens a new browser tab of the Standards page, scrolled down to the selected standard. The behavior of using the drop-down menu from the top of the page is identical to clicking on the linked Standards card. The next section of the home page is Apps and Tools. As evident, the available tools and applications are Model Viewer, Model Builder, and the Automated Process Portal, or APP. Note the Login to start collaborating below each tool description. Again, this version of the homepage is for site visitors that have not yet logged in. Thus, the Tools and Apps drop-down menu in the header only contains a link to an overview page at present. We will come back to the Tools and Apps soon and see how the content and configuration changes for an authenticated user. Scrolling down, we come to the Community section with a card for each component in the community. Clicking on the Learn More button for a component is the same as selecting that component from the drop-down menu in the header. An expanded view of the selected component card is displayed until it is closed or until the card for a different component is selected. These expanded cards contain component-specific information such as high-level program descriptions, points of contact, and links to component IGINS program websites. The next section is SDSFIE myth-busting. designed to promote facts and, yes, dispel myths about SDSFIE and standards in general. The 5 different questions are available from the carousel or the drop-down in the header. Selecting one takes you to a new browser tab of the myth-busting page. Scroll down to the selected question. Finally, the Help section at the bottom of the home page provides access to all of the categories that are available in the Support drop-down at the top of the page, plus a few more. The support pages are Frequently Asked Questions, and there are a bunch, Contact Information and a form email function, Getting Started, which directs you to register for an account and what to expect, and training resources, like the video that you are watching. The Home link takes us back to the top of the page. That completes our top-to-bottom overview of the layout and content of the SDSFIE portal homepage and linked pages. Again, to the right of the main menu in the page header are the account registration and login links. Site visitors that need to become SDSFIE users should complete and submit the registration forms. After submission, a manager from the specified component will process the account request. For SDSFIE users, logging in using login.gov authentication provides access to site functionality, including the apps and tools. Once logged in, the main portal page layout changes, and users are presented at the top of the page with a set of cards that link directly to those tools, and a set of cards that link directly to the tool user guides. As would be expected, tools and apps are now available through their menu in the header. At present, the available tools are Model Viewer, Model Builder, and the suite of ArcGIS tools. The tools open in a new browser tab, as shown here for the Model Viewer tool. All of the features and functions of Model Viewer and each of the other tools and apps are covered separately in both user guides and other instructional videos. Let's take a moment to consider what these tools do, and to which common IGINS and standards implementation use cases they apply. There are 8 distinct tools, 5 running from the SDSFIE portal through browser windows, and 3 that are downloaded and run in the Esri ArcGIS environment. All of these tools focus on implementation of data models that are compliant to the vector standard, and in some cases the metadata standard. These web browser-based applications include the following. Model Viewer allows users to first, select and browse a single model and view all the elements of that model. Second, search a single model to find and view all of the elements that match search terms and constraints. Third, search multiple models to find and view matching elements. Fourth, generate a selected logical data model, or LDM, in Excel format. Fifth, generate a selected physical data model, or PDM, in PDM spec format for import to ArcGIS to create an SDSFIE compliant geodatabase. And sixth, manage models by changing the status or presence of a selected model within the portal model registry. Model Builder enables users to create a new model in the portal registry as an adaptation of an existing parent model. Model Comparator enables users to compare 2 logical models and fully describes their similarities and differences at an elemental level with documentation in an Excel workbook. Model Validator verifies a model as an adaptation of a parent model using a rule set defined in the SDSFIE vector implementation guidance and provides an Excel spreadsheet output listing all non-compliance findings. Data Migrator is an ArcGIS-based toolset supporting the migration of data from one adaptation of SDSFIE V to another version of the same adaptation. Finally, ArcGIS Tools is a set of 3 downloadable tools that run in the Esri ArcGIS environment. These include, first, the Geodatabase Creator, which takes the PDM spec file from Model Viewer and imports it into an Esri geodatabase. Second, the Logical Data Model Creator, which creates an SDSFIE LDM spec file from a geodatabase and imports it into an LDM in the Portal Model Registry using the Model Builder tool. And lastly, the Geodatabase Comparator, which compares the similarities and differences between 2 geodatabases at an elemental level and documents that correspondence in an Excel workbook. Now that you are familiar with what each tool does, we can introduce the use cases in which these tools are employed. In almost all cases, several of the tools are used to fulfill the use case functional requirements. The good news is that while there are a total of 5 general use cases, there is only one that is used frequently, and it is very straightforward. Use Case 1 describes the general requirement of implementing the schema for an SDSFIE vector LDM into the physical environment of a GIS, most often into an Esri geodatabase. This could be an entire approved headquarters model, or one or more feature types from an approved headquarters model to collect data in the field, or to package contract geospatial product deliverables that adhere to the SDSFIE specifications. There are 4 use cases which employ the suite of SDSFIE portal tools. These use cases are generally more advanced, but also used less frequently and by fewer users relative to Use Case 1. Use Case 2 is developing a new model. This process is necessary when the existing model does not meet all of the requirements for its implemented use, and thus does not contain the exact set of elements needed by the user. This use case can occur for a component when a sufficient number of changes warrant creation of a new headquarters level adaptation for a functional area within a component, or at the installation level to accommodate requirements specific to a unique mission or locale. Use Case 3 is reviewing a model, either to determine if contract deliverables are using a compliant schema, or to review a new model that has been developed for the user's organization or that of another component. Use Case 4 is planning for and executing data migration. This use case is always performed either in a centralized manner within an enterprise or at installations with very specific guidance from component managers. Use Case 5 is managing models in the portal registry, a task generally performed by component managers or their support staff. Let's now take a look at the specific tools that support each of these use cases. This table shows the set of tools used for each use case. The first thing to notice is that almost every use case requires a set of several tools. Also obvious is that use cases 2 and 4, developing a new model and planning for and migrating data, have the largest number of required tools. Indeed, these are typically the most complex use cases, particularly when the activity applies to an entire enterprise. Again, the good news is that the most common use case is to implement the model, and this use case is very streamlined. So long as a user knows what model and feature types to select, the required PDM generation and creation of the SDSFIE compliant geodatabase take less than an hour to perform, likely 15 minutes for the skilled user. The optional creation of the LDM as an Excel workbook to serve as a handy data dictionary is similarly exported and created in a matter of minutes. There is one item from the list of tools and apps not described in detail thus far. That is an application known as the Automated Process Portal, or APP, which is an online system that facilitates and manages all aspects of the SDSFIE change management process, or CMP. This concludes the SDSFIE Portal and Tools Overview training. If you want to learn about SDSFIE at a high level, SDSFIE governance and use, the Model Viewer tool, or other detailed SDSFIE topics, visit our training resources page at the URL listed here. Thank you for your interest in SDSFIE.